Hey, what's up, guys and gals? My name is Ricknineg. Thanks so much for joining me today. We are doing a I Love Lucy live stream for multiple great things that people miss it. They can watch it later on. So we got two great episodes today. I'm happy that you are joining me today. We're going to be looking at the description for anything that you might need, as well as, hold on here, as well as the names of the episodes, because sometimes people are like, "Hey, Rick, what episodes are you doing?" And I say, "Look down in the in the description." Again, the fuzzies are flying around. Okay, you guys know it's a constant thing on my site. So let's take a look at, or let's talk about Men Are Messy. Now, this is right after the Seance episode. Men Are Messy came out December 3rd, 1951. So I'm sorry if there are kids playing and you can hear them. They're outside. I really don't want to shut the window because then it'll get kind of crazy. So I'm sorry if you hear them in the background. They're obviously not my kids or neighbors' kids. Kids are nice anyway. Episode number 8, filmed on Thursday, October 25th, 1951. Rating share is 42.1 out of 65. Now, this is a little bit lower than the Seance, but if it does get too loud, though, just let me know, because I don't know how you guys will hear it. Supporting cast: Kenny, the press agent. Kenny, played by Kenny Morgan. Jim White was a photographer. That was played by Harry Shannon. Maggie, Maggie Hazel Sunny Boyne, and music Straw Hat Song. Who is that person? Maggie. Kenny Morgan, who at the time was married to Lucille Ball's cousin Cleo, was Desilu's PR representative. That's interesting. Kenny Morgan. So that was the press agent. That's really interesting. Okay, so let's get this started. Men Are Messy. I like the first half of the episode. The other one at the end, it's not that it's not great, but it's just kind of creepy to me. Lucy dressing up like that, looking a little disheveled and ooh, fix hair here. I don't know. It's just a weird. Do you guys like that episode at all? Men Are Messy. I think the beginning is pretty brilliant, where they're arguing about who's messy, who's not messy. Hey everyone, looking at the comments here. Nice to see all of you on here. Arthur and Train Supporter, very nice. Katie, Ash. Now, I have to say, if you don't know, I do have a new episode or a new video that I just uploaded. That's the day that this is going up. And so if you're watching this live, obviously it's live right now, but don't go there yet. Watch the live stream. Then when you're done with the live stream, then you can watch it. The videos won't go away. They're there. And so that is something to think about. Hello, Donna from Tuscaloosa. Yeah, that's correct. Alabama. Nice. The good old South. Okay, let me see here. So, Arthur, I don't know who you're referring to. You're asking, what did Desi have against him? Who's him? Who are you referring to? Sometimes on these comments, I just ask you guys to be as detailed as possible so I can get to your questions as quick as possible. Yeah. Well, I'm scruffy today. We're gonna go to bed. I look like I got a good rest. Kind of did. All right, let me see here. Christopher, nice to see you. Thank you for all the support you show on the channel. For all of you, most of you, most of you means most of you do support me, so I do appreciate that. The business manager. You mean Mr. Charles Lane? I'm not so sure I'm clear on the question. So Desi and Charles Lane. I mean, he worked a lot on I Love Lucy. Now here is where Ricky comes to the apartment, starts to mess things around. Lucy was making sure everything was prim and proper, like almost like no speck of dust anywhere. But of course, Ricky comes in, throws his sweater on the ground, gets music sheets everywhere. He gets his newspaper. There's a plant on the couch or the coffee table. He puts it on the ground. Take his shoes off, just throws them everywhere. He's a little messy. I mean, I can relate to him. Let's just say that. But of course, Lucy just cleaning comes out and she's like, "How did this happen? I cleaned everything up and now it's like a pigsty." Hey, Bertha. Fans in Bakersfield will say, oh, I was going to say hi to everyone in Bakersfield. Nice to see you. Awesome. Are you guys mostly I Love Lucy fans? Hey Donna, so you really enjoyed, surprisingly, the video you did. So why surprisingly? Did you think that maybe, because I'd like to maybe bring this out more. Do you think you were a little hesitant because you didn't want to see the final resting place? Like it would have been sad to you and so forth. Like I understand there is that link and that respect, but whenever I go to these locations, I'm not sad. I'm just very pensive. I think about my own self and of course, where I'm going to end up and so forth. Not in a bad way, but just like it's the only real physical connection we can have to these people who mean so much to us. We spend so much of our lives watching them, and so obviously they are gone in the traditional sense, but you can go and visit them in a way, and I think that's great. And I know some of you can't, so bringing that to you guys was at least to me very important. So I appreciate that. So I'm glad you enjoyed that, Donna. And I know a lot of people really enjoyed that video. You guys showed a lot of support to that video. And you guys know that you can't visit Desi, you can't visit Vivian. Their ashes were scattered in the ocean. And so I visited half of the cast. The other half, Lucy Ball, is in New York. So that would maybe be the next big journey to do. Oh yeah, so Arthur, so Jerry was technically his agent, and so yeah, so there was some issues with Jerry, the real person, and I made a video on that. So I don't know if you checked it out or not. I don't remember if you said you had, but I can tell you that it is something interesting to watch because it does shed a lot of light into their relationship on and off camera. Yes. So hello, Bertha. Nice to see you. Bernard, hello as well. Casey, so you're talking about Ricky, he's only dramatically messy for this episode. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, because in the other episodes, he's like, honey, I'm home. And he goes and puts his hat in the closet, his coat in the closet. Or Lucy hangs it up, but he's not like really crazy. Or maybe Lucy corrected his crazy behavior. I don't know. Yeah, Donald. So what I do is I go, I'm kind of going in chronological order. Now we're in the Men Are Messy episode. And so we'll eventually get to the bread baking episode. That's called Pioneer Woman. And that's in season 1. So it should be coming in the next following weeks as we continue on through the I Love Lucy series, kind of going in chronological order. At one time I was kind of skipping around in the beginning. Then I'm like, let's just go through all the episodes and look through things and talk about things. Ricky has really high-waisted pants. You guys are making fun of Fred. Ricky right now, he's almost, his neck, it's like he's gonna choke himself with his pants. Well, awesome, Bertha. I'm glad you guys are showing your kids this stuff and your grandkids, and maybe you guys don't have any kids or grandkids like myself, and so you guys watch them themselves and hopefully pass it on later. That's awesome. Bernie, there we go. Bernard, I'll call you Bernie. Breakfast with Bernie, right? That's a movie, isn't it? I think so. I've never seen it, so I don't know what it's about. Donna, you say surprisingly because it is sort of an odd thing to want to see where somebody was buried, but I guess it gives you a sense of closure about that person. You're right, and I know it's a touchy thing. I know some people don't even want to say the D word, death, and I understand them. I respect it, but I have had a lot of people who ask me, where are they buried, what's in there, and I still have people who are huge fans of the show, like huge fans, people who are big fans and watch my stuff and are like, Rick, you haven't seen Desi gone to visit Desi yet. And I'm like, it's impossible. Think about that. It's impossible. And there's no remains available. And the fact that there are for some, it's like, well, it's like we're privileged that we can go. I also went to see if you guys are fans of the Three Stooges, Mo Howard, and I shall be making a pilgrimage to see the others in the near future. So keep that in mind if you are a Three Stooge fan. Thank you, Angela. Did you happen to watch today's video? Today's video was interesting. Of course, I always like to keep my things PG, and so forth, parent guidance. But then again, I thought about it like this. If they were able to present it on the show as they did, why should I not be able to highlight it? This is not really extrapolating anything. This is nothing new, at least for the topic today. I'm going to be interested to see if some people are like, why are we talking about this? Well, people talk about this all the time. I get this question all the time. It's like, Rick, what does that mean? Is that suggestive? And so I'm bringing to light that, hey, maybe there is something suggestive here. And it's one of those things where I don't want to be the final arbiter because I'm not the writer of the show. And so I bring it to light. I give my educated information, or the information, present the information, and have you guys decide, because you guys are the fans. I'm a fan, one fan myself. So yeah. Men Are Messy is a great episode. Do you like the second half too, Train Supporter? Do you like the half about Lucy dressing up, making the apartment all crazy and messed up? I like Fred here. He's like, he goes in and he I don't know how to explain it. Like when the doctor, when he goes, washes his hands and puts his hands up so he doesn't get any germs on him. Kind of Fred does that. He kind of sanitizes himself before he goes in. If you haven't given a thumbs up to this video, I would really appreciate it. It's very easy. It's just down below. Just go click. And that's it. Helps me out. Helps more people find out about the channel. It's a great way to support the channel. It's absolutely free. It takes less than a second. And thank you. Look at that. Ooh, look, the likes are going up. How high could we get them? How high could we get them? Thank you, everyone. Okay. Let's get back to work. Let's get back to work, Rick. Always commercial breaks, but always getting back to work. Okay. And again, friendly reminder, the chat is there. So if you want to ask questions, if you're watching this live, there should be something that says I'm live. If not, you won't see the live red icon. You say something in the chat. And then if you have never done it before, today's the day. Today's the day. Oh, Weekend at Bernie's. There we go. I was mixing breakfast at Tiffany's with Weekend at Bernie's. And I made breakfast at Bernie's, or dinner at Bernie's, or lunch at Bernie's. Maybe we should make a movie, Lunch at Bernie's. It's like a mixture. Angela, so this is a great point. You say this last video you enjoyed a lot. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I was trying to balance, and make it obviously educational and proper for everyone. Like if you could understand it, you could understand it. But if you couldn't, you couldn't, which is good. Which is, I think, what I Love Lucy was trying to do. I try to balance that. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. And you're always surprised with the things that they got away with saying, right? Right? Think about it. 1950, they had to be so careful with anything. Couldn't show a bumpy belly of a pregnant woman, something that happens every day, right? They couldn't show it. Think about death too. Is death ever really discussed on I Love Lucy? Now, I could be wrong. I'm not saying death was never mentioned, but I'm struggling to think about just anything in that regards. Let me know, because I might work with that. I might do something with that topic. I'm not going to say exactly what, but can anyone remind me? Obviously, no character in the cast was like written off with death or anything, and so I'm curious. A lot of newer shows talk about death, but anything on I Love Lucy? Again, it's a natural thing: birth, death, right? My mom literally watched every episode of I Love Lucy whenever it was on for 50-something years. Wow, big fan. Your mom's name was Lucille. That's cool. But she never wanted to be called Lucy. She was never called Lucy. Well, calling her Lucy was Desi's thing. And so I don't know if you guys, who has heard of this story, let me know in the chat. But basically, when he met Lucy, she introduced herself as, my name is Lucille. And I think he even called her Lucille for a while. And he was fine with it. But then after getting to know her, I think after he got married, he started calling her Lucy. And people say, well, why do you call her Lucy if her name is Lucille? And he said something very interesting. He said, well, she's obviously dated and been with other men, and they have called her all Lucille. I want to be the only man who calls her Lucy. No one else can call her Lucy. And we all call her Lucy. But I think the idea is it's like a special bond he had with her. So I think that's pretty interesting. Let me see. I totally lost where I was in the chat because it goes up, 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 up. So Donna, when she got Alzheimer's, so your mom and was in the hospital near the end of her life, your brother came up with the idea of getting some of the DVDs. Oh, that's so nice. That's such a good idea. Yes. I was going to say something nice just about a family member, but I'd rather not. I'd rather keep it quiet, and because it may be too personal of a story for people in my family and watching So I'll just leave it at that. But I think that's a very good idea, especially when people are feeling down. Lucy brings them back up again. How old was Lucy and Desi when they got married? Great question, Bertha. I definitely know they got married in 1940. And so I think we're going to have to just do a little bit of math here, which I'm not good at. So I can tell you 1940, and then we just have to do the birth and death date. So the birth dates. The I Love Lucy started in 1951. Lucy was 40, and so she was around 30 years old. Yeah, so that kind of answers it. I believe Desi was 2 years older, if I'm not mistaken. You guys will correct me with that. You guys will know. See, Randy, you're coming up with a blank, and I don't think that's a bad thing. But it's even like, oh, he's passed away, or even like a dog has passed away. Like no mention of it at all, ever. And I'm thinking, is that because it was a sitcom? Well, you might be like, well, obviously Seinfeld mentions death. There's many episodes with funerals. Obviously, it's later on. And obviously time has progressed, but it seems like, well, we're doing a comedy. We can't talk about. So is death on I Love Lucy more risque, more like a no-no to talk about than pregnancy? So yeah, so see, that right there was me coming up with an idea on the spot. Because some people are like, how do you come up with these ideas? Or you're going to run out of ideas. Maybe, but I think there's always something. Oh, the big straw hat. That's happening right now with the big straw hat over your eyes. And that woman, now she appears in another episode. She appears in Lucy's or Ricky's fan magazine, when he gets interviewed. And then Minnie Finch, who also plays Lucy's mom, was there. And she was one of the neighbors, saying that she got a letter from Ricky and so forth, an invitation. There we go, Casey. There we go. Her aunt, or Ricky's like, her aunt died and left her the money. Yes, that's good. That's really and you caught that, Casey. That I did not come up with that, but yeah, you're right. That was in there, and again, I'm blanking on another one, but it was like a passing thing, because her aunt really didn't die, and so it wasn't like an actual death, like in the show, at least, right? Like in the storyline, because what was happening is that everyone was lying about Ethel having the money, so they made up a story on how she got the money. Oh, Ethel's aunt just died and left her the money. So yeah, but you're right. You're right. Men are messy. Wasn't that the one where they divide the apartment in half? Yep, they draw the line. Basically, Lucy gets like a measuring tape and just goes, does like half of the couch, cuts it in half. Well, not cuts it in half, but separates the apartment. And then the guy from the magazine takes the pictures. You're right. He comes to the apartment, takes pictures where Lucy has a horribly messy apartment. Excuse me, with the with like a tire there and chickens and all this crazy stuff. Really, Arthur? I've never remembered that. This probably slipping my mind. And so if you remember the episode or remember where it's from, let me know. Oh yeah, so Skip, thank you for this great question. There's Three Stooges. You guys can ask about that too. You can ask about almost anything that has to do with the just YouTube in general. Was Three Stooges shorts shown before movies? So great question. So there were movies before that, like Charlie Chaplin and so forth came before that, and those are proper movies. These were also movies, but they were shorter. They were what they called, so at that time in the 30s, when they used to film something, they used to be in reels or rolls of 10-minute film, because like that's how much it could hold. That was the limit for the camera. And so for these movies, the Stooges, it was 2 reels, which meant 1 reel. They would be able to record as much as they could and cuts and so forth. And then they would have to change it out, put another reel. That's 20 minutes. No Stooge short is over 20 minutes. I think the longest one's like 19 minutes and like something seconds, like almost 20. And so they were called 2 reel shorts. And that's where we get Three Stooge shorts. So they were technically movies. They were just like some people say shorties. Yeah, great question. Great, Bernie. Great point here about Ricky and his will, and saying that Lucy has to go downtown and for go. You're right. See, That's what I'm telling you. There's so many episodes, guys and gals, 179, that I never hold it against anyone, no matter how big of a fan, if they can't think of something. That's one of the reasons why I'm not big into like trivia and people about this stuff, because you can be the biggest fan and there's so much content, that it's hard to know. You have to know that even some of these actors, like the Power Rangers or any of those actors that you go and see and they sign stuff for you, even like Star Trek and all those, they don't remember any of the episodes. Like I remember Patrick Stewart remembers like a couple, and then he's like, people come up to him and say, "Hey, remember when you were doing this in the episode 53 and you sneezed and whatever?" And he's like, "I don't remember. Like it was like a 20-hour work day." And like, no. And so that's just so funny that we sometimes know more than the actual actors, because it was work for them and so forth, but so long past, and it's like work. If you're a mechanic like my dad is, he doesn't remember 5 years ago when but you may, because you came in that one time 5 years ago. So it's just interesting. Okay, let me see here. I've never, yeah, wait, let me see. Oh yeah, well there we go. See, now that we start, the ball keeps rolling. Lucy thinks Ricky's trying to murder her. The Mockingbird murder mysteries, right? The Indian scalping people, right? Going through that story. So it is in there. It's just very subtle, but it is in there. Okay, let's see. When you're watching the show and they mention money, I try to think, how much would that be now? Yeah, very good. No wonder Ricky's upset. So a really easy way to do that, all you have to do is add a zero. What I mean by that, they're talking about $300. It's 3,000 roughly. Okay, it's actually a little less. It'll be like 2,700, 2,800 of today's money. But just to make a quick estimation to get a rough idea, if they're like, Fred, sometimes I think once you spend $5 on a lighter, you're like, $5, that's not much. It's like a $50 lighter. So it's obviously not one that you can just get at a gas station and so forth. So yeah, it's good to do. Train supporter, have you done a video on the scenes in the Mertz's apartment? That's a great thing. I've done a Mertz's apartment tour that you should really check out, because I basically show their entire apartment, which is really cool in different episodes, because you don't obviously see their whole apartment in one episode. So we go through the kitchen, we go through the living room, we go through their bedroom. Many people don't know that their bedroom was featured on the show once. And so it's there, and you should check it out. So Christopher, you think Lucy was the character and Lucille was the person? Good point. That actually makes a lot of sense. Yep. Both of these big TV, well, a lot of big TV shows take place in New York. Seinfeld as well. I don't know what it is about New York. It just seems like it's the big city. It's the quintessential like city life. New York, LA. But since everything's filmed in LA, it's too cliche to make it in LA. So they do, a lot of these other shows like Detroit, or they would do Michigan for Home Improvement and so forth, because they try to change it up. They want to get seasons in there, Roseanne and so forth. They're all filmed here in LA. But again, yeah. Oh, there comes Lucy with that giant bear. Let me see. David Holt, that's a great point. So you have a request or just like something to ask. So you're saying, show us the other videos they were in before I Love Lucy. So you have to be careful with just actual footage, but it would be something nice just to see, like, before I Love Lucy, where were they? That's great, and just allude to some of the shows. And I think that's a great idea. Thanks for that. Oh, there's the end of the episode. Basically, Lucy crying at the end because she appears in Look magazine looking like a little hillbilly with her little hair, with a little bowl cut. Let's see. The Big Straw Hat. Have you seen that series? What do you think of it in comparison? Reminded me of that Desi song, of that song that Desi sang in Mother's Law. I've never seen it. Have you seen it, John? I'm assuming you've seen it. What do you think about it? Tell us what you think about it, because I don't know if many people have seen it on here. So the episode is done. We're going to be moving on to the next one. So give me 1 second before I get back to everything. We're going to start the fur coat. Now, the fur coat, I think it's fun. All the way around, it's a fun episode. It's definitely something that many people enjoy, I think, because there's so many commercials about, Lucy wearing the fur coat and then her flipping it over and said, well, go ahead and shoot. But it's like, don't hit the fur coat. So this is episode 10, December 10th, 1951, release, episode 10. I just said that. Filmed on a Friday. Okay, so Men Are Messy was filmed on Thursday. That's very rare. That's not usually what happens. They're always filmed on Friday. One day on Saturday, the first, Lucy thinks Ricky's trying to murder her, but with the fur coat on Friday, and I think they start sticking with Friday. That becomes their normal schedule. And that day was November 9th, 1951, a month before it aired. Rating share is 44.1. So I always think that these rating shares have to do with the previous episode. Like if people really like the previous episode, maybe they're more likely to tune in because I don't think they had like commercials advertising the content of the next one. I could be wrong, but it was just like, no, we just got to tune in, Lucy, see what happens. So yeah, if the past episode wasn't good, they, maybe less, or if there's a holiday, maybe less people would join in, so forth. And we have a thief who's Ben Weldon. I've never heard of him. I don't know where he's at. Now, this mink coat is $3,500 in 1951 money. Roughly, that's around $35,000 mink coat. You can really see how expensive that is. That is something super high class. Now, that was a prop, of course, for the show. I don't believe that was actually worth $35,000, but there are things out there with that and more, of course. Yeah, yeah. So there's for the little fact there. Yeah, guys. I always inform people that I have over almost 200 I Love Lucy videos, and unfortunately, YouTube doesn't just advertise them to you guys. They don't have them pop up. Sometimes they do, but a lot of people ask me, "Hey, Rick, how about?" It's like, "Hey, I made that video. Hey, I made that video. Go check it out." And so I would highly recommend if you think you've seen a lot of my videos, go back and check. There's a search. Go to my channel page. There's a little search. You can put Lucy and it'll come up all the Lucy videos that I've ever made. And you can search the topics and see things and maybe find something else. Three Stooges, same thing. Some people are like, did you know Lucy? They'll watch one of my late ones and then they'll be like, did you know Lucy was in the Three Stooges video? Yeah, she was in the third Stooge short. And I'm in the 44th, I think I'm covering. And so it's, yeah, I've done all 44. And so go back and watch them. There's 44 others. So definitely something to think about. Oh, yeah, they even did Down the Munster. See, and that all comes from I Love Lucy. What am I drinking? Oh, great. Yeah, great question. It's like pink. So what it is, it's a, I'm sure you guys have heard it. It's like a vitamin C. It's not really energy, but it has a lot of vitamin C and it's supposed to be like natural and it just like boosts your immune system. So yeah, it's this powder, which is like pure vitamin C, a little flavored. It's a little punchy, but you can tell it's like very sour, but it is very refreshing. I don't know. It feels like it gives me energy. Could be a placebo effect. I don't know, but it just feels good. But it's not watermelon juice. Great question. You guys were guessing. That's hilarious. So yeah. Train supporter. Now this is a big one. Food or eating scenes. There's a lot of them. I could not make just a video. Like it would have to be like, hey, everyone, thanks for joining me today. We're going to look at all the cooking or all the eating videos. Let's start. Now I have to go number one, blah, blah, blah. Number two, because there's so many of them. Think about the barbecue episode, Fred and Ethel fight. Those are just two. The one where Lucy goes under the table on the diet. That's just three off the top of my head. But remember, when they're in Europe, there's a lot of them. So that may have to be like a whole series of stuff. Great, great. You love the fur coat. Hand over that coat or I'll shoot. And she pulls it out. And he goes, wait, now you can do it. The episode where they get stuck without gas on the boat. Once on the island, they thought the neighbor was going to kill them. They never say death, but yeah, that's a good one. I got to start writing these down. Guys. You are awesome. Reminding me about all these things. Mother-in-law is on DVD now. You start Eve Arden and Kay Ballard as two neighbors married to a lawyer and TV writer. They became related when Eve's daughter married Kay's son. Wow. Very nice. In the 60s, well, you know a lot about the show. Are you a big fan? Well, I'm guessing you're a big fan. 67 to 69, very psychedelic in sets and tone. It's a lot of musical numbers. Desi produced it. I've heard that. Yep. And he sold part of Desilu. Yes. Very cool. Bob and Madeline created it and wrote for it frequently. That's really interesting because they ran out of ideas on I Love Lucy. So I guess you burn out. Everyone burns out. You know, I have a lot of people where I hear them say, you know, why do people burn out on YouTube? It's like, it's not just YouTube. Writers burn out when they're writing a book, and TV people, actors, writers, people burn out all the time. It's a natural human function. And so it's good to note that. Let's see. Herb Rudley played Eve's lawyer husband, and Roger C. played Kay's husband. Deacon took over Roger's part in season 2. It only had 2 seasons. Not that long of a run, right? You loved Lucy's driving lesson, Arthur, when the U-turn in the Holland Tunnel, right? Your dad overthought it. Nothing connects East Orange. Bernie, food scenes. I love the one with Frank Nelson as nearsighted waiter, and Lucy keeps changing her mind. Now I love here we have another plan, another sneaky idea between Fred and Ricky. I love when they come up with all their little sneaky ideas. And this is one where Ricky comes up with. So again, there's so much stuff that we could do, write about, and talk about. I think Mothers-in-Law ran out of ideas in season 1. Desi made a cameo appearance in the Mother-in-Law in episode 1. Awesome. Yeah, he was trying to promote it, I'm sure, because it was his show, right? And so this is the part where Lucy has a fur coat on. She thinks it's for her. And Ricky's like, it's not for her. They lended it to me. And Lucy's like all happy and excited and freaking out. He's trying to get it from her. So they decide, why doesn't Fred come in, pretend to be a thief, steals the fur coat? Who remembers this episode? And of course, Lucy's treating it like if it were a little baby, putting it, you know, on the little couch and making sure it's all clean, not dusty. But then she wears it to bed. And Ricky's like, oh my goodness, how am I going to get this off her? She even washes the dishes in it and has like an apron over it. It's kind of funny. Yeah, Casey, writers can go through writer's block. Totally not talking about myself. Well, see, you know how that works, writing writer's block but I think that's like almost every job. Like you do need a vacation from work. That's why people take vacations, because that happens. And the best thing is to like completely forget about what you're doing, distract yourself, and that helps. When I used to write papers and stuff for grad school, it was really difficult sometimes, but I made it easy because I would take a 30-minute break where I would watch TV, watch something funny, literally transport myself out of my situation, and I would come back and I'd be good. Like, so it's a good thing to practice. You need to vacation yourself. Watch some I Love Lucy. That works. Maybe take a trip to New York or something, or LA. Helicopter passing by. Now here's Ricky crawling along the ground, trying to look for the fur coat, noticing it's not there. And he's like, oh no, she's wearing it. This crazy wife of mine. What am I going to do? Oh no, she's trying to rip it off Lucy, but fortunately it's not going to work. Hey, Cynthia, nice to see you. Great that you're on here. New York state of mind, right? It's like, oh, I don't know, Lucy. Just go to bed. It's not going to work, my plan anyway. Now, what I love is hilarious Fred coming in all shaky, all Fred-like, and with his little gun, and it's like, you know, it crumples over. It's just hilarious. He's so great. Now, Ricky's like, oh, she's not wearing it anymore. I can go look under the bed, over the sheets. Does she have another mattress? Where would she keep it? Where would she keep it? She's washing the dishes. She can't wear it, can she? She's not that crazy. And she comes out wearing the coat and having an apron on her. And he's like, oh, wow. He's like, I'm never going to get this on her. It like grew on. It literally attached itself to her. How's this ever going to work? And Ricky, of course, is wearing polka dots. Now, I heard that polka dots was like, it was a style, not even, not only for women, but for men as well. So it was a common thing to do. It was a common thing to wear. It was in at that time. E-skip, yes, eventually. So great question. Pilot's license question. Does someone need to fly solo with no instructor? Yes, eventually you have to do a solo and your instructor is watching you, but they prepare you before that. It's not just like, yeah, go up there. And you're told what to do. You practice it many, many times. And then when you do it, you're solo. And then you can fly on your own for a little bit, perfect things. And then once you get to like the next level of doing more things, then you go back with your instructor and you do like cross country. So then it's like you start to learn how to go farther distances with your instructor. And once you already know how to fly, he's like, okay, well, we've done it a couple times. Now you can do it again. You're already solo and so forth. Yeah, it's just building, a little building. When you were a little kid, your cousin lived in Westport. Oh, awesome. Of course, where the Ricardos moved, according to the show, they didn't really move there. And they didn't really go there. They didn't leave the state of California, guys and gals, to film I Love Lucy. It's all in LA, Los Angeles. Yeah, I would tell you Ricky and Lucy live next door. Nope. Nope. Not at all. Yeah, I don't think Lucy played an alien or anything like that on Star Trek. At that time, they had, for lack of a better term, they had bigger, better things to do. I mean, they were head of a studio. And so although they wanted to promote the show, they wanted to be more hands-off. They had a lot of money at this time. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just so crazy to head a studio. It's like running a school, being the principal of a school or something. I mean, that's obviously trivial compared to this, but it's like when you're a principal, there's a lot to take over. Imagine a movie studio. Imagine four. They had 4 movie studios in 4 different locations in Los Angeles. And so it was just tough for them to get on camera. Although Lucy did the Lucy show while she was running the studio. So, I mean, she was insane in a good way in terms of all that she could handle. Like, that is very, very crazy. Train supporter, hopefully soon. Let's see. Bill Frawley's deliveries were great. They were. Absolutely. But what's the matter with $10? And he was just like, this grumpiness came through. It wasn't like he was acting. It was like this. It was him coming out. It was very just Bill Frawley. It was very Bill Frawley. Yeah, I agree with you, Angela. I love Fred in general on camera. I think the camera eats him up. He does very well on camera. The scenes with him and anyone, I think, are good. Him and Ethel's playthrough is amazing because they have that like husband and wife thing, but they are upset with each other. Then Fred and Lucy are interesting. They don't interact that much, but when they do, it's so nice. It's so great. It's gold. And then him and Ricky are great because they scheme up something, and it's almost like a father-son, informal father-son relationship. It's great. Now, I'm sure Donna Desi was on the Mayberry sets. That's 100%. He was, because that was his studio. He would regularly walk along the sets. But was he ever on camera? Probably. I don't think so. I'm not hugely knowledgeable in Andy Griffith, but I doubt it. I would agree with you. Cynthia, did William Frawley like children? He apparently treated them very well. Richard Keith, of course, Keith Thibodeau, he said that Bill Frawley they knew him, like he was scruffy, but they liked him. He was nice. He wasn't like mean to the kids or anything like that. He was very respectful. Bill Frawley was, in all intents and purposes, I made a whole video on that, a fairly good guy with people. He was a little rough around the edges. He spoke his mind. I made a whole video on that so you can kind of see the nuances, but some people kind of think because he comes off so scruffy on camera that he was like that all the time. And people say that's true, but with children, he was very respectful, obviously. I mean, he was a professional. These were all professional people. Yeah, shows like Andy Griffith were filmed at a Desilu studio. In fact, Desilu Culver. It's not that far from me, I guess you can say. David Holt, another great idea. What became of Desilu? Brought it on. What it looks like now. So I have made videos on Desilu Studios now. I've showed you what I Love Lucy was like before, and then I visited the studios present day. Not all of them. I visited 2, I believe. So I have 2 more to go, and I will be going to them eventually. But yes. Yes, Bernie, that's correct. The East River is technically somewhere on the East River. Somebody sent me a photo, a Google image on that. People send me a lot of stuff, and they're like, "Hey, Rick, this is actually where the apartment should be." It's funny. It's actually, some people say it's close to the East River with like a construction zone. I'm like, well, they just bulldozed the Ricardo's apartment. It's easy as that. Yes, Vivian was a lot younger than Bill. But their marriage is like that. It's rare, but I have seen my grandparents were 14 years apart, not exactly 22, but I have heard of 20-something-year-old odd marriages. Yep. I don't mean odd like weird, like in age. There's a discrepancy there. Yes, Angela, great point. So, Rick, is it true, Angela's asking, that Bill Frawley is the only I Love Lucy cast member receiving royalties? Do you know how much? I don't know how much. That's obviously, I think, still private because it's still going on. It's still technically an active contract because he is now, obviously, he's not benefiting personally, but his estate is. And yes, he signed a special contract where it was like in perpetuity, which means eternally, forever. He would receive royalties, or he would receive, I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to go into the details, but it's basically he would receive a cut from the show. And everyone's like, this is so dumb because they're not going to play I Love Lucy again. Little did they know what they worked out was right. And he is still, to this day, 2018, receiving money. Well, his estate is the people who took control, because he never had children, and he was married only once and then divorced and the lifelong bachelor after that. And so I don't know how his estate moved, what it moved through. I know he donated a good amount of his money, or he donated money to a lot of causes. But yeah, absolutely. Wow. See, Tony Randall was 50 when his wife was born. There you go, right? No, that's incorrect, Donna. There are residuals for Bill Frawley. Again, they're not going to him; they're going to his estate. The other one who's getting them, Gilligan's Island, Dawn Wells. She's the only one getting residuals still, and she's alive. And then she, I believe, is had no kids, and I don't believe she's ever been married. If at anything, short-lived, but I don't believe she was married. And she obviously, those residuals will keep on. So Donna, it's called an estate. So basically, when you're getting old, so forth, you make a will, and then you assign someone to basically take over if you don't have kids. So your next of kin. It's something very common that people do, and if you have residuals, like that's part of it. So when you die, if you have those residuals, you can pass it on to the next. It's like with anything inheritance, it's the same concept there. Yeah. So Bill, I believe he had nephews. If we're talking about Bill Frawley, he had nephews, and so I think because obviously he had brothers, and I believe his brothers had kids. His brothers had kids, yes. But that's just a guess on my part. But that's what I've heard, that he was kind of close to his nephews, and that makes sense. I hear a lot of people don't have kids that get close to their nieces and nephews. No, Don Wells, but also don't forget Tina Louise, who played Ginger, is alive as well. Yeah, Russell, unfortunately, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to apologize for YouTube because that's them, right? They have to take care and handle their own stuff. But unfortunately, even YouTube is changing constantly. Now they're even going to change the subscriber feed where you won't be shown all the videos of the people that you're subscribed to, which is horrible for us creators because you won't be shown, like, there's no guarantee. YouTube is basically going to recommend what they think you should watch, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And so that's why I know it may be annoying to some people. You may think, why does it say like and subscribe? We have to say that because we have to remind you guys, because YouTube doesn't do that. So we have to fight for our work and what we're doing. And so we ask that you please support that and understand that, and browse our channels, look, and hopefully you'll get notifications. But it's not you should still do it because subscriptions help us, but they're not going to be as accurate to notifying you. But if you do stay notified, there's a higher chance that you will get notified, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm totally with you, Randy. A lot of YouTubers are upset. Big YouTubers are really upset, and I don't want to get into that drama, but yeah, it's a difficult thing. I love doing what I'm doing, so I'm going to keep doing it, but yeah. Yeah, see that, Cynthia? They get deleted or they get hidden. I know people that are even subscribed to some big YouTubers and they get shown those videos all the time in the recommended, and then the ones that they are subscribed to. I subscribe to YouTubers. I watch other YouTubers. I'm a fan of other YouTubers. And sometimes like a week after, I'm like, wait, I didn't know this person posted something, and I'll look and yeah, it was a week old and it has millions of views, let's say, but I wasn't notified. I wasn't told. And so again, I hope you have patience for the system. It is what it is, and hopefully people vocaling their displeasure with it will help. But right now it is what it is, unfortunately. So the episode's coming to a close, guys and gals. Lucy's showing the things that Ricky bought her because he admitted that he didn't buy that fur coat for her, and so to make up, he bought her a lot of stuff. And so yeah, Lucy got out with her way. So that is awesome. No, yes, please keep going. Please keep liking, keep subscribing. The only thing that will change is the way it's recommended. The side videos that are recommended, they should be recommending the videos that you're subscribed to and those channels, but they're just kind of recommend whatever they want, whatever they think you should be watching. So I would say you guys are all very intelligent and obvious. Like, it's an obvious thing, but you guys watch what you want to watch. Go watch what you want to watch. You hunt for what you want to watch. And that's it. And support us as much as possible with the thumbs up, with the liking, with the subscribing, with the sharing. That will always help us because, of course, more people that see our videos, the better. That's that. So as of now, that's still helpful. So yes, definitely. Great question, Angela. And thank you, Bumby. Bumby, do it yourself. Awesome. Yes, you're correct, Robert. Dawn Wells did take care of Natalie Schaefer. Natalie Schaefer did not have kids, and I believe she did leave some to Dawn Wells. Plus, she has her residuals, so I think she's okay. Plus, she's single, so she doesn't have a family to take care of in that sense. So, plus, she's older now. She's in her, I think, almost 80. She looks great, though. Awesome. I'm glad you were notified, John. Glad. So I think we did the seance last time. Wait, unless I totally messed up. Did I totally mess up, guys and gals? Did I mess up? I think I messed up. I think I did the wrong order of videos. Well, I could just do next time. I could change it up. Like, I'm going to go back and just make sure. But what I may do next time, if I messed up with I'll just put the next one. So because I thought I did seance last time, but if I didn't, don't worry. I'll do seance. And then the next one that should be Lucy is jealous of the girl singer, and I'll fix it. All right. Thank you so much, guys. And that's true. We did Men Are Messy and Fur Coat. So I thought last time we did Audition for Sir, but I think we didn't do seance. So we skipped it. So we'll do seance, and Lucy is jealous of a girl singer next time. Boom. And it'll fix it all. So thank you so much, guys and gals, for your support. Have a great week. Of course, I won't be on tomorrow. So you got double dose of Ricknineg today. So don't forget to hit that thumbs up button before you leave. It does help me out still. And subscribe if you haven't. You should subscribe. It does help me out. It does help me get to higher plateaus and show the video to show my channel to more people. So I appreciate that. Have a great week. Stay positive. Don't let anything get you down. It's so important. Do whatever you have to do. Talk to a friend. Go outside and watch the sunset, the sunrise. Watch a show like I Love Lucy, whatever it may be. But always stay positive. We'll see you next time. And don't forget, be hopeful.